And now your Idaho Real Estate News.
You have been working with a potential buyer who lives far away. You have been sharing with them potential properties that they might like for some time now. Today they contact you and say, let's make an offer on this property. What should you do? This is Mike Johnston, contributing editor for Idaho Real Estate News. This week, we will discuss ways that could help you and your buyers when they elect to make an offer on a property sight unseen. Many months ago, I received a call from a buyer who wanted me to find a property for them. I sent them information on several properties and they narrowed it down to one property that they really thought was the property for them. It was located close to certain places they wanted to frequent. It had most of the amenities they wanted, and the price was close to where they wanted it to be. They asked me to write up an offer on it for them, sight unseen. I've been through this before, and I was not excited to have this desperate buyer wanting to purchase a property that they have not even seen. Sure, they could change their mind or even find something wrong during the inspection time frame, but is that really good business practice? I told the buyers that I wanted them both to be together, and I was going to drive over to the property and we would have a Zoom call so I could show them the property. As I walked through the property, I could visually show them everything I could see, and I could zoom in on any defects that I saw, and I could document the showing by recording the Zoom call. After the call, they decided it was not the right property for them. What might have happened if we did not do the Zoom call? Where could that situation have ended up? Would we have misled the seller by them eventually learning that the property was not what the buyers really wanted? Could we have had an earnest money dispute or simply buyer's remorse? I would have had a lot of explaining to do. We need to consider all who are involved. Here is where I usually get into a debate about who cares about what the other party says. You are obligated to do what's best for your client. That's all. Well, let me explain to you that that is not entirely correct. While Idaho law does define your client level duties to your buyer, you are also required to provide customer level duties to the seller. For your buyer client, review Idaho Code 54-2087 duties to a client. Quote, to promote the best interests of the client in good faith, honesty, and fair dealing, including but not limited to disclosing to the client all adverse material facts actually known or which reasonably should have been known by the licensee, seeking a property for purchase at a price and under terms and conditions acceptable to the buyer, and assisting in the negotiation therefore, for the benefit of a client buyer, when appropriate, advising the client to obtain professional inspections of the property or to seek appropriate tax, legal, and other professional advice or counsel. For your seller customer, review Idaho Code 54-2086, duties to a customer. Quote, the brokerage and its licensees are non-agents and owe the following legal duties and obligations: to perform these acts with honesty, good faith, reasonable skill and care, to disclose to the seller customer all adverse material facts actually known or which reasonably should have been known by the licensee. A non-agent brokerage and its licensees owe no duty to a seller customer to conduct an independent investigation of the buyer's financial condition for the benefit of that seller or customer, and owe no duty to independently verify the accuracy or completeness of statements made by the buyer or any source reasonably believed by the licensee to be reasonable, end quote. I just learned that a licensee ran some statistics in the Snake River Regional Multiple Listing Service. And under a certain set of properties, it was found that 22.2% of all initial offers written fell apart. And out of that 22.2%, half of them were from buyers writing an offer sight unseen. So what should you do when a buyer asks you to write up an offer sight unseen on a property? Well, what can you do to minimize the risk or liability that might be involved? Do your homework. One of the best things you can do for your buyer, customer, or client is to understand what is really important to them in their new home purchase. What amenities are musts and what amenities are likes. Learn all you can about their preferences, so when you suggest a property to them, you know it is going to meet most of their house hunting desires. Provide a tour. Scheduling a showing for you and your phone to meet up at the property and zoom in, or some other form of a video call, your potential buyers and give them the grand tour of the property. Make sure you point out everything you can to them. I would send over the seller's property disclosure form to them for review ahead of time. So if there are any questions about it, you can look for clues that things are now okay with whatever was disclosed. I also just learned that when a licensee does a video tour of a property, it is on average 4 times longer than when the potential buyer accompanies the agent for an in-person showing. Disclose everything. Mention anything you know about the property. Ask the listing agent questions and disclose the answers to the potential buyers. Seek questions that the buyers might have and solicit answers from the sellers by providing these written questions to the listing agent. Are there any material defects? Any adverse material facts? Avoid liability. Do not take on responsibilities you shouldn't. Don't assume that some item on the property is okay when you are not the one who should be making that decision. Try to get others involved. Do they, the buyers, have a relative or friend that they trust who could accompany you on the tour and be able to assist them in decision making? Have them hire a competent inspector of their choice to evaluate the true condition of the property. Don't select your home inspector or repairman. Give them options. Should the roof be inspected? Should a radon test be performed? Water or sewer line issues? Do not misrepresent anything, whether intentional or not. Take notes on everything. Avoid potential problems by documenting concerns the buyers have brought up. Put things in writing and make any addendums to the contract outlining each party's responsibilities if one was agreed to. Have your buyers ask questions directly to the home inspector or other professionals that they hire to help them gather a true picture of what it is they are buying. Think about what you would like to know if you were the potential buyer. What would you want to know if you were making an offer on a property sight unseen? Well, when in doubt, reach out to your broker and ask them for assistance with any questions you might have about what you should do when asked to write up an offer on a property sight unseen. This has been another segment of Idaho Real Estate News. If you found this article useful, please share it with others. Subscribe by adding us to your Alexa flash briefing or by sending us an email to johnston@mykro.com. That's JOHNSTON at MYKRO.com. We have a website with all of our past topics that have been discussed. Visit the website IREN.news for more information. There you can also submit topics you would like us to cover. We are available for you to subscribe and listen to us as a podcast. You can find us on many of your favorite places where you subscribe to other podcasts. Search for Idaho Real Estate News. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel for more insights on forms and other real estate topics. For Idaho Real Estate News, I'm Mike Johnston.
Idaho Real Estate News is updated weekly.